Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. We are joined by founder of Panquake.com, Suzie Dawson. Suzie, thank you for coming back on our show. And I know you wanted to give us some updates about where Panquake is at. I'm impressed with how further along it is. But tell us where we're at and what you guys need.
Okay, so as you know, like literally 1 year ago, like what are we at? January 13th, slightly less than 1 year ago, we all jumped on a live stream and presented an idea to the world. And at that point, like we'd only just got our panquake.com domain. I literally borrowed money from my family to even buy that domain. We had like no business infrastructure, no paid staff, no code, no application, nothing. We just wanted to solve a really serious problem that has only gotten worse through the course of the last year. And we wanted to solve that by creating a social media application that wouldn't censor us, that wouldn't shadow ban us, on which we could build a following that we knew we could access so that people would actually hear the messages and receive the messages that we send, first and foremost, but secondarily that couldn't be taken from us, like that we couldn't have some punitive corporation bringing the ban hammer down on whoever they don't want circulating true information. And so we brought this idea to the world and we said, are you interested? If you are, we're going to do 3 phases. First phase, we need to raise enough money to establish business infrastructure, legal and accounting and bank accounts and business registration and everything. Phase 2, we're going to build the product. We're going to make the application. And then phase 3, we've got to raise enough money to deliver the application, because this can't just be a great product, it's got to be a great service. And a great service means customer support staff, accounts administration staff, technical support staff, so that there's someone with a beeper at 3 a.m. if shit goes down at the hosting site. So we need to be able to provide we need to build and train a service delivery staff to support the product, to support our customers. So phase 1, the 50K we needed, we raised it in 20 days. We thought it would take 60 days. We raised it in, I think, 21 days. So we took that money and we did exactly what we said we would. We set up business infrastructure in multiple countries outside the US. So we're registered in the Cook Islands, which has never been successfully sued by a US entity since the Cook Islands Trust system was established in 1989. And we went to Iceland for our hosting because they have special laws around freedom of information, freedom of speech, freedom of communication. And so we're not going to have the whole like Parler, Amazon, AWS, Google problem that, Parler and other applications have had. So that gave us the infrastructure we needed to build upon. Phase 2, we launched, we needed to raise $117,000. That was to hire developers to build Panquake. We raised that 117,000. I'm very proud because many people said, oh, you'll never be able to do this, blah, blah, blah. We did it. We hit 100% on phase 2. We hired developers. We started coding in June. By October, we had proof of concept for our 2 most important architectural innovations. The first is the ability for us to store user account data only on the user device. So we don't collect any user data, we don't store it, and so we don't sell it because we don't collect it or store it. So when you get a Panquake account and you install the Panquake application and you register and you subscribe and you settle your profile information, everything, all of that data sits on your device, no one else's device, not on our network, not on our servers, nothing. And the second architectural innovation was establishing a P2P, which means person-to-person, peer-to-peer, decentralized network. And we did it. So we now have machines that can send and receive encrypted messages to each other without us as an intermediary. So we're not in the middle. So users on Panquake are communicating with each other to send their messages and then submit them to the block. Because it's a blockchain product, so we have an underlying blockchain. So that was our first 2 massive wins. We proved that we can do it. So then we started the interface build, and our interface is sexy as fuck. Can I say that? It is
Yes.
sexy as fuck. It is, from a design perspective, so engaging and beautiful and intuitive. Like, you are not going to need to learn how to use our interface because it's so obvious. Everything's right there in front of you. You can customize it. You can move the pieces around. You can make it look how you want it to look. It's really like a jigsaw puzzle in where it has little panels for each section, and you can control the placement of where things appear on your screen. Everything updates dynamically, which means you don't have to like go forward and back across different pages. Everything, like, as you click and interact with the application, the information just updates in front of your eyes on the screen without a page load. So there's no page loading times or anything like that. So it's fast, it's intuitive, it's easy to use, and it looks gorgeous. And we have a whole bunch of different theme colors and light and dark theme and all types of cool stuff. So again, into that customization, you can really make it look exactly how you want it to look. So we now have, and this is our big news that we just announced in December, we now have a functioning Panquake user interface application accessible in browser. So we now can, in a browser, run the Panquake application and create user accounts and send messages. So this is like a massive milestone for us, obviously. And we did that all in under 1 year, which is like crazy in terms of normal software development terms. It would usually take about 2 years to get to this point. And you would usually need a couple $1 million. So on a couple $100,000, we have established a multinational corporation. We have proved that we can deliver on the technological advances that we have conceived of. And we have a working, functioning interface. Now, there is still more work to do. The interface isn't 100% complete. We're still finishing it. And we also are in the middle of our blockchain build. So it's going to take a couple of months to get that complete as well. But we are well on our way towards delivery. And we are now in phase 3 funding. And phase 3 is the last funding round for Panquake. After this, we're done and dusted. No more. We won't need any more crowdfunding. But it's the big one. Because like I said, now we have to hire and train and set up processes for an entire customer service staff, because we are having real people service Panquake. So when you need help or support from Panquake, when there's some issue, you're going to talk to a real person. You're not going to get some AI-driven Twitter email that makes no friggin' sense. You're not going to have like 3 days of radio silence before you get told to browse through some prefab knowledge base and maybe it will answer your question or not. So we are determined to deliver not just a totally different social media product, but a totally different level of service. We need accounts administrators, so if someone needs a refund or the credit card company billed them twice or whatever, we've got people to deal with that. We need technical support staff to maintain the network and to service the product. And obviously to hire, and we also need content moderators, because we are not going to have we aren't going to censor people on political lines, but you're damn right we're going to censor child pornographers or God knows what other horrible shit they want to put on. So we're not going to allow that. So we're looking at needing to hire and train a couple dozen staff, and that's expensive. So we need the whole community to pull together and as quickly as possible get through this phase 3 funding round. And once they have, we can deliver Panquake, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so satisfying to see that delivery happen.
And it should be noted that too, when somebody does violate the terms and they're blocked, everyone will be able to see it because it'll be on the blockchain, and you'll be able to say, this is why we blocked this person. This is so it won't be some mysterious, like what happened to me. I just got demonetized from YouTube. It's been a year. I filed for an appeal in March and they said, we'll give you an answer in 30 days. Well, that was 9 months ago. And I don't have, there's no one to talk to. I just like screaming at some big building. Whereas with Panquake, it'll be very clear. It'll be on the blockchain. Everything will be verified. Everybody will be able to go, oh, this person, was posting this in whatever, child pornography or something horrific like that. So we said, you're done, or they advocated to kill someone or some crazy shit. And this is why. We can all see why. And the person who got kicked off can see why they got kicked off. And they can go yell about it on Getter that we just realized through Sean O'Brien is a complete scam and steals all your data.
Pretty much, in a nutshell, yeah. So you're correct. Having the blockchain means that every message or interaction on Panquake Network has a public record associated with it. So you can actually click through on the timestamp of any message on Panquake, and it will take you to what we call the block explorer, which is like a separate web page that shows you the block record for that message. That we call it a transaction, but it's not a financial transaction, it's a content transaction. So you can prove, like if you shared something to your timeline, that is stored on the block that you did it. So you can prove, yes, I did share it. This hasn't been undone. If you like something, it can't be unliked. If someone follows you, we can't unfollow them from you, because you can prove that the event happened. And if it was reversed, there would be another blockchain record showing that it was reversed. And the blockchain is accessible to the entire network. So anything that happens there, including all of the moderation functions, are recorded on the block. So if there is some nasty, disgusting child pornography on our network and we suspend that user or ban that user or remove their content, that creates a block record. The block record contains the date, the time that the moderation occurred, the account that it occurred to, and the reason for the moderation. So you will see this was removed on this day at this time by this moderator on this from this message from this account because child pornography, violation of terms of service, gone. Mm-hmm. So, and I see someone asking if we're doing AI moderation. Panquake is completely AI free. We do not do timeline. We don't do like algorithmic timeline manipulation, content manipulation. We don't decide what is on your timeline. Your timeline is comprised of time linear, which means in order of creation, messages by the people you follow. So if you don't like something on your timeline, the only reason it's there is because you followed the person who created it. So you can go and unfollow them, and then that won't appear on your timeline anymore. But we do not take any of your eyeball space. We don't have any advertising on the platform, but we ourselves don't advertise on the platform. So like a lot of these platforms, you go to them and you see they use the timeline space to advertise themselves, or their CEO posted this or whatever. We aren't advertising ourselves or anyone else in the interface. The interface is 100% what you have elected to see with no interference from us. And all the moderation is by a human moderation team. So no algorithm, no advertising algorithms, no timeline content manipulation algorithms, no moderation algorithms either.
Right, and that's a great thing. I'm glad somebody asked that question. The other thing too is people have asked this question in the past, like, well, what's stopping some big, company from coming in and creating a bunch of bot accounts? And it's like, well, they'll all have to pay $5 and no one will verify this account. So it's like if they want to give.
That's one of my favorite things. That's one of my favorite things about this. Same thing with even like these like nasty internet stalkers or whatever. They actually have to pay $5 a month for an account. So it kind of raises the bar for them on it. If you want to make 10,000 fake accounts, it's going to cost you $50,000 a month. But so why would you come to Panquake when you can go on some other network? You can make unlimited bot accounts for free. But the other thing I really like about it is that on our network, you will only see the bot content if you follow the bot. So if you don't follow the bot, then you're not going to see their stuff. So I can't say like, people won't register a bunch of Panquake accounts and do engage in bot activity, because maybe they will. But they'll be following each other and broadcasting to themselves. So I don't really care if they're broadcasting to themselves. It's only if regular people are actually actively following them that they would even see the information. So I think bots are pretty irrelevant on Panquake.
Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that you might just get, and thanks for paying the $5 a month, bot. Like, we appreciate it.
Exactly. We appreciate you supporting everybody else's service. Yeah, exactly.
What other ways is Panquake going to be different from, let's say, Twitter?
Oh, God. It's a company that is owned by private individuals who are privacy activists and independent journalists, and who have put their lives on the line to advocate for the rights of users. Twitter is a corporation backed by venture capital, and it is now a public company, which means the primary motivation and driver of the people involved in it is making more money. That means that their application is designed in every way to service the creation of more wealth for already wealthy individuals by selling to the Twitter's real customers, which aren't users, but are corporations, advertisers, governments, security agencies, etc. Panquake is literally by the people, for the people, funded by the people. And we have built in protections to make sure that Panquake private shareholdings cannot ever be sold to any third party, cannot go to friggin' Bill Gates or whoever, or some venture capital shark. So this is a private company that's going to stay a private company, and there's real deal people behind it. To me, that's starting at the baseline, at the foundation. That's the biggest difference. Like, our customers are our users on Panquake. The people who sign up for our platform and pay us $5 a month, we exist to make them happy, to serve them. Twitter uses users as a product delivered to their customers, which aren't users, aren't regular people. Their customers are corporations and governments. So totally different.
Right. And you've also talked about too, how, Panquake, when people are like, well, why should I pay $5 a month? I don't want to do that. Because explain how, if you do the traditional big tech company of using advertisers and all that, how that compromises the integrity of Panquake.
So we simply wouldn't. In terms of compromising the integrity of Panquake, we have no advertising. So there's nothing to gain for an advertiser. We have no ability for paid boosting. You can't pay money on Panquake to get your content more seen. So that's the complete opposite of the big tech model. On all big tech platforms, more money equals more eyeballs equals bigger circulation of content. On Panquake, if Joe Blogs down the road starts a Panquake account, he has the same ability to circulate content throughout our network and have it be seen as friggin' Chevron if they started a Panquake account. If Chevron starts a Panquake account, they can't pay money to get people to see their stuff. They have to actually legitimately attract followers, and then they can only broadcast to those followers. So see what I mean? It's like it creates a level playing field. So on Panquake, the average person has the same ability as the biggest corporation. You have the same ability as CNN to circulate content on Panquake, and CNN can't use money to achieve more reach than you. So it's total parity for users. Whereas obviously Facebook or Twitter, they just come along, throw a few $1 million at them, and next thing you know, they're on everybody's feed. They have no ability on Panquake to insert themselves into your timeline unless you follow them. If you don't follow them, you'll never see their shit ever.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, that's the thing that I've come across as, as a live performer. Social media overall has helped live performers such as myself, because we can, prior to, I've been doing comedy long enough to see the pre, social media and post social media landscape as a stand-up comedian, right? So before social media and podcasting and all that, you were completely dependent upon, getting on the Tonight Show or getting in a sitcom or something like that. And that's how you got your profile boosted out there. You needed these big corporate media places to put you on television, and they had to put you in a movie. There's all these gatekeepers, and social media came along, and initially it was really wonderful. There was MySpace, and, Dane Cook, while many comedians have, criticisms of his style of act or whatever, he showed a lot of comics he got onto MySpace early, and he just promoted the shit out of himself on MySpace, and he built a big following, and he started selling out big theaters and arenas. He got on SNL, and it was like, oh my God, he got on Saturday Night Live because of MySpace. And it was really, really amazing. And you started to see, oh wow, we can all do this. And we started doing podcasting. But then as big tech got more sophisticated, when these, or Rather, these little startups that were started by whatever, a couple of guys in a garage, then got bought out by the Googles of the world. That's when they started putting all these clampdowns in and weighting the field. So you had to pay for boosts and all this stuff. And now it's like, you can still organically build up a following on these social media platforms. But then, like you say, the big companies can just come in and outbuy you or whatever. I see like, I'd see like these kids would blow up on YouTube. Like, wow, they must have really been tapped into something. Then you find out, no, their parents spent a bunch of money and they bought ads and like whatever the thing is. I mean, even I got on TikTok last summer and I had a couple videos go viral and my numbers just started going through the roof. And then the analytics just kind of clamped everything down. They changed in the fall. It was on, like, everyone on social media was talking about TikTok changed its analytics. And I'm just like always at the mercy of some big company sticking it to me. And I'm trying to get my audience. I mean, YouTube, I had 78,000 subscribers, but in this year of being demonetized, they've been slowly unsubscribing people. Now I got 76,000 subscribers. All my subscribers don't get notifications. What this show, we just went live. We only have 100 people watching us. And Suzie, that's because every time you're on, they stifle the shit out of it. Like they literally
love me. I know,
they love
me.
Like the video clips that I've posted of you always get less views. It's insane. But if I were to do crazy clickbait stuff, the Fauci had sex with an alien or whatever, then my numbers would be going through the roof. So it's like social media has empowered performers, but then it's also, there's these restrictions and ceilings. And if we talk about politics, Lee Camp will tell you this. He built up a massive following on YouTube. Then they started throttling him because you're only allowed to be a political comedian if you play within the two-party system. You can be a political comic if you just make fun of Trump and the Republicans, but don't call out the fact that the Clintons and the Obamas are war criminals, just like Bush and Cheney and everybody else. So when you first told me about this, and as you and I have talked and you've explained it to me and you've come on this show and we've also just had personal conversations as you've shown me how it works, my eyes have just been like, I'm so excited as I'm sitting here listening to you explain this. I'm thinking to myself, well, I'll just bide my time on these other social media platforms until Panquake comes. And then that's where I could really actually, because as a comedian, it's all about selling tickets on the road. I mean, that's our stock market. Like how many tickets you sell on the road, that determines how successful you are. That determines who books you. And the more tickets you can sell on the road, the more leverage you have. It doesn't matter how funny you are. If you're not selling that many tickets, the comedy clubs are like, we don't care. And
real fans want to know what you're doing. Like,
yes.
I'm a fan of, there's a Kiwi band called She Had. I've been a lifelong fan. I'm what you call a super fan of She Had, right? And if they release a new album or they're doing some tour or something and I don't know about it, I'm pissed off that I didn't know about it. Like, I wanted to know about it. I want to go and buy that album. I want to go buy the merchandise. Actually, their bass guitar is sitting in my bedroom, which I bought from one of their promotions. So this is, for me, like, fans want the information, but you end up with some friggin' Chevron ad in your timeline instead of what you actually want to see from the person who you elected to follow. And that's not cool. Graham, you have got this friggin', I'm serious, like, I'm not just sucking up here. You've got the smartest audience. There is like 6 amazing questions sitting in chat from people. They're asking really, really, really smart questions about the platform. Can I just answer?
Yeah, go for it. Start answering them.
Okay,
sure.
Cool. Thank you so much. And I have to laugh because someone's taking the piss and suggesting that I'm from Invercargill. They think my accent sounds like I'm from Invercargill. Invercargill is like on the ass end of New Zealand, like way the fuck, like middle of nowhere, like sheep land. No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not from Invercargill. I'm from North Shore of Auckland. It's about as opposite as you can get to Invercargill. Okay, so someone was asking about like bots and messaging and reply. People can message and reply on Panquake, but the person whose timeline it is controls the space. So if you don't want, like, for example, unregistered users, like people on Panquake who haven't paid $5 a month can actually reply on threads. But if you don't want them to, you can deselect it and then they can't. So you can say, okay, only subscribed users with a proper profile can interact on my threads. And so we have basically a lot of moderation functions in Panquake are given to it's at the user discretion. So if you want to see certain types of content, or you don't want to see certain types of content, or you want content to be blurred, or different, display options for content, you have that ability, including what types of accounts can appear. You can make it so that subscribed users appear first on your reply threads, and anyone who's not a subscribed user is underneath that. Or you can make it so that only people who follow you or only people who you follow can appear on those threads as well. So we've made it as versatile as possible. So some people will be like, I don't give a shit, anyone can comment on my thread. Well, sweet, you can set it up so that that's the case. And some people will be like, I actually know what my friends and people I trust to be able to interact here. Then you can make it like that. So we've basically made the user king in all regards and put the decision making into their hands, rather than making decisions ourselves and then imposing it upon the users. Someone else is asking about what we call rate limiting. They're saying, will bots just be able to incessantly spam the network and thereby take up all the network traffic and slow down the network and slow down the blockchain publishing? We actually are going to amazing lengths to create a very special queuing service, a microservice that will filter out and prioritize legitimate traffic that's posted intermittently from subscribed accounts versus a flood of messages from an unsubscribed account. So we're doing this to lighten the load on the blockchain, but also to make sure that legitimate users are always having publishing priority over what may be less legitimate use. So that type, we call that rate limiting or metering in technical terms. And we are doing an enormous amount of work around both of those things to make sure that that can't happen. And also because it's a P2P network, we don't want people spamming device to device traffic. So this protects you and your device and yourself as a user, as well as protecting the network as a whole. Just scrolling through, there's a whole bunch of great people.
Great questions.
Asking cool stuff. Someone's asking if Panquake is active now. Panquake will be active when we hit that phase 3 funding. What I need, because we don't have a corporate PR team, we don't have a corporate marketing team, we don't have corporate advertising, you won't see us on CNN, unfortunately, or Fox News for that matter. You won't see us there either. What I need is everybody who wants this, everybody who understands how important this is for us to have this technology, to literally become our marketing team, get out there, get out of the big tech, get off Twitter, get off Facebook, and go to blog sites and whatever communities all over the internet, or even better, offline, and be our ambassadors, be our promoters, be our marketing team. Because we don't have the resources to go spend money on some ad agency to do stuff like this. We need real people. And this whole campaign has been word of mouth. So if you go check out panquake.com/donate, you'll see 3,380, I think, or more people have donated. Those 3,380 people are why we have a multinational company and an application. They are why. They believed, they jumped on board, they backed us, and they're why we've got this far in less than a year. What I need now is the remainder. And that's got to come from us just talking about it, spreading the word, spreading the information, spreading the links, and just committing to helping to make this happen. It's real easy. I see this all the time. People are like, oh, I'm waiting for Panquake. I'm waiting for Panquake. And I say, don't wait for Panquake. For God's sakes, don't wait. Get up and go and tell 10 people. Help this happen faster. The supporters of Panquake have a very real impact and effect on our ability to deliver the product faster. The more people we have out there being ambassadors for us and helping us market Panquake, the faster we get this over the line and into users' hands. But if everyone just sits back and is like, oh, just wait for Panquake, you could be waiting for the next 3 years if nobody helps. We need people to help. We need people to get on board and be an active part of it. So that's my appeal to you on that front. Someone's asking, can you, how do you sign up for the beta? Super easy. Go to panquake.com/5000. Literally just /5000. And that's the beta sign up page. At the very top, you'll see there's a link to a FAQ, frequently asked questions. Please read that FAQ. It's there for a reason. It gives you all the information you need to know about what is the process, how does this happen. Because a lot of time people seem to sign up for the beta, they don't read the FAQ, and then they're tweeting me questions, going, "Oh, I haven't this or haven't that." And I'm like, "Did you read the frequently asked questions?" So it won't take you long to read. It's only like a 30-second read. It's like 4 or 5 points on it. But read the fact and then fill out the form, follow the steps, sign up for the beta. And that will mean you'll be one of the first 5,000 people who will ever use Panquake. Someone else was asking, how will this network grow? Like, if you don't have content shoved in your face to interact with, how will it grow? So this is a really great question. But for me, I look at how Twitter started out, because I remember Twitter 10 years ago. I remember how it started out. There was no influencers on Twitter. There was no politicians, no embassies, no government departments. There was no major corporations. There was some businesses, but not many. There was maybe a couple journalists, but not a lot of journalists. There wasn't major news outlets. There wasn't celebrities. Twitter wasn't a place that celebrities had to go to. Twitter was a place where regular people shared messages of interest and had conversations. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jimmy Dore's been an awesome support, Chris. Thank you. And he's on my list to jump back on. I did do a show with him about Panquake at the beginning, and I'm hoping to do an update show soon. But real people liked Twitter because it was light, fast, new technology, something they hadn't seen before. And that amazing functionality and amazing ability for people to connect is what attracted more and more and more people to Twitter, and more and more and more. And once there was a huge volume of a grassroots community, regular, ordinary people on Twitter, that's when influencers and politicians and celebrities and government departments and businesses started going, "Oh, holy shit, there is a lot of people. There's an audience there. We better go and get on Twitter too." And that was when they all started to show up. And that's when Twitter started to become like closer to the Twitter we know now. The problem was Twitter's business model was ultimately to service those people and not to service the regular users. So this is why Panquake, we deliberately from the outset, we planned this to run a grassroots campaign to attract large numbers of regular people by giving them amazing functionality and amazing ability to spread messages easily and to communicate with each other. And knowing that will, absolutely will, 100% attract influencers and celebrities and businesses and whoever else to the platform, to Panquake. But the difference is they aren't our customer. They aren't our business model. Our customer is all those grassroots people that come to us and sign up for an account. So we aren't looking to serve corporations. We're looking to serve our user base. Someone's asking, how do we not get killed like Parler was? Well, that's exactly, maybe you missed the beginning of the show. I was talking about the very first thing we did in our phase 1 with our first 50K that we raised was to set up business operations in jurisdictions outside the US. We have no infrastructure on Amazon, no Google, no nothing. I mean, we have no cookies on our website. We have no trackers, like Panquake application, 0 app permissions, 0, when you download Panquake, you're not going to need to give access to your microphone and your video camera and your contacts list and all of these other crazy things. We don't require that. We're not capturing any of it. We have no cookies on any of our website, no trackers, no Facebook analytics, no big tech analytics, none of that stuff. So yeah, so Parler is not in, Parler is a totally different model to us. We're hosted in Iceland through independent companies. Our business infrastructure is way out of US reach. Okay, I think I covered off most of it. I think I probably missed a few people. Sorry, Graham, to just commandeer you.
No, man, that was great. Like you were just like rolling through. Those are fantastic questions, and you're really answering a lot of. I mean, I wouldn't know how to ask those questions. These are obviously some people that are tech savvy in the chat.
That's what I'm saying. They're smart questions. Like people asking about rate limiting and stuff. That's really smart questions.
It's why I'm so adamant about blocking shitbirds, because I want a smart critical thinking audience. You don't have to agree with me, but if you're just going to argue in the chat like a fucking dumb fuckstick, then I'm going to block you. Smart questions, reasonable discussions, reasonable debates, I'm all for it. And I would rather have a smaller audience of reasonable people asking smart questions than a big audience of fucking dipshit cult members.
Well, I've spent a lot of time studying FBI documents and Snowden documents. And in those documents, literally the first thing they say is capture attention, engage in some behavior that captures attention. And then the second thing that they say is deflect the conversation. Take the conversation away from what it would otherwise be and turn it into what you want it to be. So some of those people, I'm sure, just random idiots, and some of those people, maybe there's more to it.
Yep, there's probably more to it. That's the other thing too, folks. When you're watching, you see people trolling in the chat. Maybe they're just some loose cannon, or maybe they're private intelligence. And when they keep harping on the same thing and they're trying to blow up the discussion, watch out. They're probably private intelligence, because in a lot of those documents too that we've had you talk up on this show, we've shown that I was mentioned in some of these documents. There's even other people that have not been mentioned, which I find that peculiar. Like,
very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Person or that show was not mentioned. That seems peculiar to me.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. I won't name them, but I've had some pretty serious detractors, pretty determined detractors who are nowhere to be found in those documents.
Nowhere to be found.
And yet I'm in like dozens of them. I'm targeted in dozens of them. And so is every movement or organization I've ever had anything to do with, targeted as well. So, yeah.
Well, that's another thing too, is as we wrap up this conversation, and I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's late there. I want to make this point to the audience too. All the stuff that Suzie's talked about, how they've set up this infrastructure that can't be confiscated or taken over by the United States, by the State Department or whatever, and it can't be messed with like big tech does, which allows then Panquake will be a hub for activism, because we see how they target activists with big followings on social media, activists with YouTube channels, how they go after people, how they try to blow stuff up, how they try to get us all fighting with each other. And that you will not be able, that's the thing about, because of everything that Suzie has just mapped out here, guys, the bots can't have control. Cause I've been attacked on Twitter, and I'm sure some of them were bots I can see they've got 12 followers or whatever. And that won't be able to happen on Panquake. So we can have legitimate discussion, legitimate discourse, legitimate grassroots organizing around activist movements that they can't come in and infiltrate. They won't be able to do it. And that's why this is so important. It's not just that we can talk to one another without them interfering, or a comedian can make sure his audience follows him. So people actually follow me and come to see my live shows and know when I'm going live, but also so we can organize an activist movement, and they won't be able to screw with it, which is, I think, even more important than any of it. So, and as Kimber Maddox has put in the chat, we had you on for WL Dragnet documents, showing who was targeted. And if I would suggest everybody go through and read those again, or look through them if you haven't, and see who's in there and who isn't. Just ask yourself, why wasn't this person who talks that loud about this and that? How come they're not mentioned? So, Suzie, thank you for taking time. Before you go, just tell everybody again where they can go, how they can sign up, and how they can get involved.
Okay, panquake.com. If you want to check out what the application is all about, what this project is all about, panquake.com/donate will take you through to our crowdfunder. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Over 3,000 people have already committed to supporting. We need a lot more, because we've got a big amount to raise. We need to raise $500,000 in order to hire all of the service teams and release this and be able to support it properly. But together we can do it. I mean, if we have enough determined people spreading the word, we could raise that money pretty damn quickly. But if it's just me by myself, it's going to take a long time. So really, all of us need to band together and do this to get it over the line. There are like a ton more freaking amazing questions that I haven't answered. So I would say, I don't know how Graham is for time, but maybe just if you are on Twitter, go ask the same question, tag at Suzie3D. I'll just type my Twitter handle. That is my Twitter handle. So write a tweet, ask your question, tag me in, and I will come in the next couple of hours and I will answer any questions that are outstanding. Okay?
Awesome. Suzie, thank you so much. I know it's late there in Moscow, and I can't wait for the world to open up because I really want to come back. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. We are still in our ninth month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a PO box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.